A very good morning to you all. Today we'll begin with the second chapter of class 8 geography, which is population dynamics. Now in the first chapter we have already studied about topo sheet. We studied about how different terms related to topo sheets, how to analyze a topo sheet. In this chapter we'll talk about population, the distribution of population in the world. We'll talk about the terms related to population like overpopulation, underpopulation. We'll talk about impact of overpopulation and underpopulation on any society. We'll study about factors affecting the population of a place, birth and death rate, immigration and emigration. We'll talk about composition of population. So without wasting time, let's begin with the chapter. Let's see the introduction part first. It's a very easy written. This chapter is written in a very easy English. So I would recommend each and every student to read the chapter once, twice, thrice and try to understand each and every line of this chapter. So let's see the introduction part. Population is a great resource for a country. Population is a resource. How can a population be a resource? A population, when we talk about a population, means we are talking about people around. A person, human resource is one of the greatest resource for a country, because by the help of human resource, you can convert a natural resource into a resource which is useful. So human resources are very important. The greatest resource of a country is population, because it is people who work on the natural resource of a country to produce wealth and to raise the standard of living. It is people who are working on the natural resource to convert it, to make the natural resource, to convert the natural resource into useful resource, which can help in raising the standard of living. The resources, like when we talk about resources like minerals, forest, agriculture product, land, water supplies, they are used in various ways by the people of the world. This is because due to the wide variation of human numbers, human types and stages of development of different human group. Try to understand this. In the first paragraph, it is said that the population is one of the richest or the greatest resource for a country. The reason behind that is, it is the population. When we talk about population, means we are talking about human resource. This human resource is responsible for converting any natural resource into a useful resource, which ultimately helps in increasing the wealth and improving the standard of living. An underpopulated country cannot exploit its natural resource to the maximum. On the other hand, overpopulation proves a burden on the resource of the country. Now, there are two terms used in this paragraph: underpopulation and overpopulation. We'll study about this term in our next paragraph. So let's see. An underpopulated country means a country where population is below average, below par, where the population is less. Underpopulated country means when we compare the land and the population and the people, the population compared to the land area is less. So underpopulated country cannot exploit its natural resource to the maximum. When the population is less, so the natural resources cannot be exploited, cannot be made use of to the maximum. On the other hand, overpopulation proves a burden on the resource. If it is overpopulated, means when compared to the land area and compared to the natural resources present, the population is more. So it proves a burden on the overpopulation. It proves a burden on the resource of the country. Of course, overpopulation proves a burden. So population of a country is regarded as the greatest resource only if it is within limits in respect of the known natural resources. So the first line said population is a great resource for a country, but this is true only if the population is within the limits in respect of the known natural resources. Now, in the first paragraph, we studied that population is the greatest resource for a country. We studied why. Because it is the human resource, it is the human who are responsible for converting the natural resources into a useful resource, which ultimately results in raising the standard of living. We spoke that about overpopulation and underpopulation. Population. An underpopulated country cannot exploit its natural resources to the maximum, whereas an overpopulated country, it proves a burden on the resources of the country. That was all for the first paragraph. Let's talk about what do you mean by the name of the chapter, which is population dynamic. What does this term mean? Let's see. Now, it is the study of number of population and variation of these numbers in time and space. A demographer will study number of peoples. An ecologist will study the number of organisms of different species and their numerical relationship to each other. Now, what is population dynamics? Population dynamics is the study of number of population and the variation of these numbers. Means the population of an area keeps on varying. So the study of number of population and the variation of these numbers in according to time and space is called as population dynamics. Population dynamics is a study of number of population and its variation in time. A demographer will study number of people. A demographer is a person who studies about the number of people. An ecologist will study the number of organisms of different species and their numerical relationship to each other. So a demographer is a person who studied about the number of people in a country. An ecologist is a person who studies about the number of different type of organisms, different species, and their relationship with each other. Man, through his knowledge, intellect, and skill, transforms natural resources into valuable goods. He is blessed with the superior brain power. He has the capacity to discover and invent. He can transform his environment into his economical store to satisfy his needs. So man plays a dual role of producer and consumer of resource. So we studied that population dynamics is the study of population, number of people in an area and its variation with time. Now, man, why this is one of the most important resource? Because man, through his knowledge, through his intellectual skills, man can transform, a man can convert the natural resources into a useful or a valuable resource. Valuable goods means from a natural resource, a man can produce a valuable product. He is blessed with superior brain power. Man can make use of his brain. A man can transform his environment into his economical store to satisfy his needs. Means the man can make use of the natural resources to make valuable goods which can be used to satisfy the daily needs. So man plays a dual role here. One, the producer, because he is developing valuable goods from the natural resources. So he is the producer and consumer as well, because man is producing the finished valuable goods to consume them. So man is a producer as well as consumer. So man can be regarded as the most important resource on the earth. So the man is one of the most important resource of the earth. We saw why man is most important resource. One, because a man, it is human capital which is utilized to convert any natural resource into a valuable good, a valuable finished product. Number one. Second, it is producer as well as consumer. So producer and consumer both at the same time. That's why the man is one of the most important resource on the earth. Now, this was about population dynamics. This chapter is written in very easy English. If you'll read the chapter once, twice, or thrice, I'm sure you'll understand each and every point of this chapter. Let's see. Distribution of population in the world. Let's talk about how the population of the world is distributed. At present, and the total number of world is the population of the world is 6,451 million. But the density of population varies from country to country. Even within a country, the population may be unevenly distributed. Population may be higher in the plains and plateau region, whereas it may be sparse in other parts like mountain and forest or in desert area. Now, the number one line says the total population of the world is 6,451 million. 1 million means 10 lakh. You can calculate, you can convert this figure into lakhs. But now this is the population of the country, 6,451 million. But this population, the density of the population, it varies from place to place. How it varies? Why it varies? Because the population of a country is unevenly distributed because of the plain, because of the area. There are places in a country which is plain, which is plateau, which is rocky, which is hilly, which is desert area. So depending upon the country conditions, the area in country, the population is distributed. So the density of population is not fixed, it varies from country to country. It may be in sparse on other parts like mountain and forest and or desert area. Means for any country you will find the distribution of population is not fixed. It is not evenly distributed, but it is unevenly distributed because of the difference in land area. Now, when we talk about population density, you would have studied about this term in physics, mass upon volume. Population density is total population of a country upon total land area of a country. Means you can define population density as the ratio of total population of a country to the total land area of that country is termed as population density. Now, according to the census of 2011, the average density of population in India is 382 per square kilometer. We have a small chart which shows the world population by different region in 2017. So this particular chart, you will find density is given, number of people upon the area, in 1 square kilometer how many people are there. So we have a chart here, a table which shows world's population by region in 2017, in which we have Asia. Population is given, yearly change is given, net change is given, density here is people, number of people upon kilometer square. Then area given, how many migrants one who move from one place to another, fertility rate, then mid age, means medium average age, urban population and word share. So this chart shows you population by different region, by different continents.